How is everyone? I hope you're all doing great and keeping safe during this pandemic. Today, we're working on one of my projects. I have a ton of projects going during this pandemic to keep myself sane. So today we're going to be upgrading my Ender 3, which is so exciting because I've been using it quite a lot recently. I actually got a glass bed for it recently because my 3D prints were not coming out as smooth as I'd like them. And let me just tell you, the effects are amazing. It's so unbelievably smooth. For today's project, we are going to be swapping out the old screen for a new touchscreen. So this is the old screen. I am going to be keeping the old screen, so I've 3D printed a bracket for it, not on the smooth bed, and bad things happened, so I might want to reprint that. For this project, I've bought a Raspberry Pi 3 A+. It only has one USB port, but that's okay, because I have a powered hub for all my cameras. You are going to need a micro SD card. I'm using this one, it's 16 gigs. It's a U1 Class 10 micro SD card. I thought that might be important for all the prints not to fail and for it to just work really fast. I've 3D printed a little holder that goes on top of the Raspberry Pi to hold the screen in place. Then we are going to be using files from this project, and I'm saying this because it's going to be showing on screen, because somebody made this amazing project where you can just slide the Pi into this and it clips right into place. So we're going to be using that. Then I have this generic Raspberry Pi 3 display from Amazon. I'm not sure if it's generic, but that's the one I'm using. Then we have the back plate, and yeah, let's start putting stuff together. First thing you want to do is you want to put Octopi onto your micro SD card, set that up. If you guys want a video on that, just put it down in the comment section below and I'll make one. We're using Octopi because another thing I'll actually be doing is I'm going to be putting a great module onto my smart mirror that'll show me the progress of the 3D prints, so I'm super excited about that. Then we take our screen holder thing here. You're going to need two rather small screws for this. Sorry about my hair, but all barbers are closed right now, so I'm sure it's beautiful. So I'm going to be using two tiny screws that I just found. They're probably from some phone. We're just going to screw this in, one there and the other one there. I'm only using two because I only have two. So there you go. That should hold the screen at the right height. And then we take our display and slide that on. And there you go. The screen is now being held at the right height. So now what you want to do is you want to slide this into the Raspberry Pi holder like this. And then you want to slide your Raspberry Pi in. This is meant for the B+, but it actually works for the A+ as well, and it's great because the USB port is hidden. So the cable actually, if you have a little bit of a bigger cable like I do, it hides it a little bit. So then you put your back plate on and the two clips, so they go on either side. So there you go. Now the Raspberry Pi is in place and you can tap your screen and it won't fall out. So that's great. Let's go install it. This mount is actually officially meant for this side, but I flipped it in the Slicer software so that I can actually place it here, because I prefer have my screen on the right side if this is the main one I'll be using anyway. So I've pulled the ribbon back out and I'll be installing the other one on this side. I am going to put my cable in first and it should just power right up. There we go. It's going to push the screen out a little bit, but that's okay. Now we install it. Also, my screen is a weird yellow shade because I have actually overclocked it. These screens that are not HDMI, they usually come pretty slow. So I've overclocked mine. There we go. I need that to turn on, and while that's turning on, we are also going to install the old screen, even though I don't think I'll be using this now that I have all the controls on this one. Power it on to make sure the screen works. It does. So that works. So there's the touch screen. We can control the printer through this, so let's try that out right now. So this is my cable. As you can see, it's kind of longer at the end. So the fact that it's going to be hiding inside is actually going to be quite useful for me. I also have this great plugin on the Octoprint. It should automatically connect to the printer without me having to press connect. So we're going to give that a few seconds and hopefully it does automatically connect without me having to go into the browser and actually connecting it. Look at that, totally worked. So now we should just be able to go here and home everything. That's an unhappy printer. There we go. Okay, so now let's work on the smart mirror module. Here we have the module. Realistically, this should be pretty simple. The only thing I'm worried about is the module is kind of old here, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So I'm kind of hoping this still works. We're gonna try. So you want to start up your favorite SSH software if you're doing this with me, and you want to SSH into your magic mirror. There we go. Now you want to paste this in, and then you paste this in. You do this. You're basically just following the steps here, and if it works, it works. Okay. now we just wait for the npm install. Okay, cool. So that was actually pretty simple. So it wants us to paste this in, but replace octopi.local with our Pi's IP address. I don't think I need to do that because my octopi.local worked. Okay, so I'm pretty sure after that, we just grab this, paste it into config, and you just need your Octoprint API key. Let's go grab that. Your API key can be found under settings and then API, copy, and let's just paste it into here. I think I just remove all of this and then save. And the way I restart my magic mirror, oh, you know what? It should restart itself. There we go. It's restarting. Let's go see if that worked. So I put it up into the top right, so that's where we are waiting for it. There it is, right there. It's huge though. I don't know if I need all that. And I definitely don't need the send to printer, choose files, upload files, because I mean, how am I gonna click on that? Okay, now we're just waiting for the magic mirror to start up. I've done quite a few modifications to the config and hopefully it all looks good now. There we go. That is perfect. Look at that. Everything is small. Everything just fits in the corner. And now here's what I'm interested in. I also selected one of the options that was when the printer is offline to just hide everything. So let's try that. Should go offline now. And that should disappear. I don't know how long it takes or if it even works. Okay, so it turns out that all this time, I think I spent like an hour at this. So for anybody actually trying to do this, you can go into settings, go into API and just tick allow cross-origin resource sharing and restart your Octoprint, and that actually fixes the fact that nothing shows up on the magic mirror. That's fixed now. Let's go take a look. So as you can see, I placed it in the bottom right. It just kind of seems better there. And everything is now showing up. So there you go. That's really, really cool. That works perfectly fine. So that's going to stay in the bottom right because in the top right, it was actually annoying me because it was moving my Hotword plugin more to the left and I did not like that. So it can stay there. That works really, really well. And we have the new screen and then we have Octoprint. There you go. And if I disconnect it, it changes to printer state offline. So I modified the code a little bit to make it a little smaller because I didn't like the fact that it was so big. And then when I connect it, there we go. Bingo. Really happy with that. So in the background, I also installed a buck converter into my Ender 3 because the original fan that actually came with it got really loud. It just started making ticking noises and stuff like that. So here you can see how I wired that up, and instead I connected, I think it's a 12 volt fan? Yeah, it's a 12 volt fan. Instead I connected a 12 volt fan, and originally that was actually a Noctua fan because Noctua fans are amazing and they make like no noise. Then the fan in the power supply of my NAS broke and that started getting really loud and I couldn't sleep, so I had to put it in there because that thing's running 24/7. So I opened up the power supply and that switched that out. So that fan on the Ender 3 is actually the fan from the NAS. So the NAS took the Noctua and the Ender 3 has its own little fan now. So that's actually a mod that I do recommend doing, getting yourself a Noctua fan, adding a buck converter and powering the fan off that, because I think the Noctua fans are 12 volts and the printer does 24, so you do need a buck converter to actually step that down. Buck converter is actually great as well, because if you can find a 3 amp one, you can step that down to 5 volts and connect your Raspberry Pi directly to it and just power everything off the printer if you're cool with that. That's a really nice way to just power everything off of one power source and make your printer quieter, because 3D printers are loud as is and making them quieter is always a bonus. So yeah, that's another little mod I did in the background. Now let's see how all this works and how it prints. The glass print bed is amazing because when it cools down, you do need to wait for it to cool down. It's cool right now. The prints just pop off because they contract when they cool down. It's just so much easier to take off than it is from the other print bed, and they are so smooth. Look at that. So smooth. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video, and I'm not saying today's video because the chances are I'm going to upload another one today. So that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you liked it. If you did, give it a like. If you disliked it, dislike it, but tell me why in the comment section below. There's a ton of these types of projects coming up now. A lot of things are getting upgraded, a lot of DIY projects. So if you want to see more of these, subscribe, ding my bell. and see you again in the next one. Peace.
Oh, there's the meatball marinara sauce, cheese. I like cookies. I like energy drinks. Give me some of that Subway. I like Subway. Teacher, big tika, big. I like Subway.